Hi, I'm Mark Yaxley. Welcome back to Inside the Vault. Following season 1, we did receive a lot of emails from viewers asking questions about how the spot price works, how premiums work, how total spreads work. We used all these terms in some of our episodes, and I realized that maybe some newer investors to precious metals didn't quite understand how the pricing mechanism works. So I wanted to take the time today and explain when you're buying gold and silver, how that total cost is determined, and when it comes time to selling your gold and silver, how that price is determined and what you should expect to receive for your metals. So join me today inside the vault as we talk about spot price, premiums, discounts, and total spreads. Before the advent of live trading for precious metals, people relied on what was called the London fixed price. In the case of gold, it was posted twice a day, once in the morning, once in the afternoon hours. In the case of silver, it was posted once. Now that we have access to real-time information, whether you be in Toronto, whether you be in Singapore, people rely on what's called the spot price. The spot price is the live, real-time value of 1 ounce of pure precious metals. Whether that be gold, silver, platinum, palladium, or rhodium, you'll see the price of gold and silver communicated across a variety of different means, whether it be on your television screen during the evening news, online on a financial website, or even on your mobile device. Now, it is important that you understand when you look at the spot price, usually there's actually two prices that are being shown. One is the spot bid price, which represents what buyers are willing to pay, or used as an indication of what buyers are willing to pay for the precious metals. And the other side of that is the spot ask, which is the basis of what I'm asking from you when I'm selling you precious metals. So the bid and the ask are the two numbers that you're going to be seeing move and change in real time, representing that 1 pure ounce of gold, silver, platinum, palladium, or rhodium. Now that we understand that the spot price represents 1 pure ounce of a precious metal, why does it cost the retail investor more than the spot price to buy a bar or a coin? And the answer to that question is what we call the premium. The premium is the difference between the spot price, which is the basis, and the total price that the retail investor is going to end up paying for their product. Every point along the supply chain, from the mint that's producing the product to the shipping cost to deliver the precious metals to a distributor, from the distributor down to the retailer, and then finally on to the end consumer, that entire supply chain is paid for in what's called the premium. All of those players, all of the members of the supply chain are actually making their living off of that premium. And depending on the profit margins that they're trying to achieve, depending on the shipping costs of silver versus gold, is going to affect that final price that the investor is paying. The next thing that you need to understand about buying and selling precious metals is that when it comes time to sell, you're also going to be paying a price, or what we call a discount, usually below the spot bid price. So just like we had when you're purchasing precious metals, the spot ask plus a premium, you can generally expect that when you're selling, you're going to have the spot bid minus what we call the discount. The discount is where all of the active players involved in the transaction are making their profit margins. In summary, before we move on to total spread, you're going to pay a premium when you purchase and a slight discount when you sell. Most importantly, and often forgotten, is that you need to look at the whole picture when buying and selling through the lifetime that you're going to hold those precious metals. Because if you're only looking at one side of the transaction, you might not realize that the product that you chose to buy isn't going to have a good resale value. A little bit like when you buy an automobile. Some automobile brands have a better resale value down the line. There are some precious metal products that have better resale values than others, and we're going to talk a little bit about that in a moment. But that entire lifetime of owning the precious metals, from purchase to sale, the number that you're looking to calculate there is what we call the total spread. The total spread is the difference between the total cost of the precious metal product that you bought and the total resale value or price that you got when you sold it. From that top number to that final number is the total spread. The total spread is actually the most important figure to consider when you're looking at buying those products for your portfolio. So the question now is, why do some products have a better total spread than others? If they're all made of pure gold or pure silver, or some not pure but still sold as bullion products, why would some be more advantageous than others? Well, the answer is quite complex. Some products being more costly to produce, others being more cost effective to produce. You have to take into consideration where the product is being manufactured. Is it being manufactured in Europe and then sold into the North American market, for example? Is that producer very efficient? They've upgraded all of their technologies inside the mint. All of these things come into play when calculating premiums, discounts, and total spreads. What I've done to make your lives a little bit easier is I've compiled a list of the 10 best products in terms of total spreads. We're not only looking at the best premiums for you to save a little bit of money up front, but we're also taking into consideration the best buyback prices for you down the line. Ultimately, if your goal of investing in precious metals is to maximize your return, you're looking at this investment strictly from a cost and reward point of view. So your goal is going to be to minimize your total spread as much as possible. Now, if you're a collector or a hobbyist and you're buying precious metals more for their collectability or just because you like the coins and you enjoy them, then you might not be worried about a product's premium or total spread. You might be willing to pay a little bit more in that case. But again, if you're looking to buy this for the long term and to maximize your returns, you definitely want to run that math to understand the total spread of the products that you're buying, because the difference between a total spread of 3% and 5% spread out over a lifetime and what could amount to hundreds of thousands of dollars that you're investing in precious metals is a significant difference. So you definitely want to take that into consideration. One thing that people often ask me about is, why is the premium for silver so much higher than gold in terms of percentage? It's very typical when you're buying a 1 ounce gold coin, for example, you'll pay somewhere around 3 to 4% over spot. But if you're buying a 1 ounce silver coin, you're going to pay somewhere around 9 or even 10% over the spot price. It's actually really simple. There's fixed costs involved to produce the products by the mints. The cost to produce a gold coin and to produce a silver coin are relatively, very similar. The striking process to produce that finished product is relatively the same, other than the fact they're producing a lot more silver coins in terms of volume. And when you apply that fixed cost to the value of the commodity, that number, that fixed cost, is going to be much lower in terms of percentage for gold than it will for silver, because gold is valued right now at about 80 times more than silver. So it's not a ploy used by dealers to make more money when selling silver versus gold. It's actually just a question of the fixed costs at the mint, at the original producer. So I'd like to give you a practical example using silver to illustrate how the total spread works and why it's important to look at the total spread and not just the original premium that you're paying for product. We're going to use two very popular products, the 1 ounce silver Maple Leaf and the 1 ounce silver Eagle. One's produced by the Royal Canadian Mint, the other produced by the US Mint. So in my example, we're going to use a spot ask price as the basis of 18 US dollars. So we're saying that today the price of silver is 18 US dollars for the purposes of this example. If you were to go to a popular online retailer and buy one silver Maple Leaf, you're likely going to pay about $3 over the spot price. So your total cost, spot plus 3 being the premium, would be 21 US dollars for the 1 ounce silver Maple Leaf. Now you're going to go out and purchase a 1 ounce silver Eagle. The 1 ounce silver Eagle will probably cost you somewhere around $21.50. We'll call it $22 for the purpose of this example. So you've got one coin that costs you $21, the other coin that costs you $22. So you're going to say to yourself, well, obviously, I'm going to buy the coin for $21, right? It's the cheaper of the two coins. That makes perfect sense. And you're right. If you're only looking at the first half of the transaction, not worried about when you sell the coins, you've saved yourself a buck. But you need to take a look at what the dealer, either the same dealer you bought it from or other competing dealers, are willing to pay for those two coins when they're sold back. So for the purposes of this example, we'll say that dealers, when buying back 1 ounce silver maples, are paying spot bid even. So they're paying we'll call it, for the purposes of this example, $18. If I sold back that same maple leaf right now, I'd get $18 back. So the total spread is 21 minus 18, $3 total spread. And now when it comes time to looking at the buyback price for a silver eagle, you notice that the dealers are actually paying $19.50. So it's $1.50 higher on the buyback. The difference between the $22 you paid for the eagle minus the $19.50, you've got a total spread of $2.50. So even though there was a higher cost on the way into the transaction, you have a better sellback price and your total spread is narrower for the 1 ounce silver eagle, making it the better of the two products in this example to purchase. Now remember, you don't necessarily have to sell your products back to the same dealer that you bought them from. So you can literally shop for the best premium on the way in and then the best discount on the way out. And quite often you will notice that companies that have the lower premiums to attract buyers don't necessarily have the best buyback prices. So their spread is still there. You're gonna wanna look for the company with the best premium and the best buyback, and then take advantage of both to again narrow your spread. One final thing to consider when you're looking at purchasing precious metals is to avoid, as a general rule, buying scrap metal. So this is metal that is either impure or in some sort of unfinished form, because you could potentially buy it at spot even or slightly under spot. But what you need to remember is that scrap metal, well, that's exactly what it is. It's going to have to be refined at some point. So when you go to sell it, you can expect to get a bid much lower than the spot bid price. Another thing to keep in mind, I know a lot of people like collecting coins, graded coins. Unless you really know the market well, graded coins are sold at quite high premiums at times. And throughout my career, I've seen some dealers take advantage of investors who might not be so savvy, and they're charged a very high premium up front for the graded coin, but when it comes time to sell that coin, they're not getting much of that money back. They're not seeing the return. That total spread is very, very wide, and that's something that you need to educate yourself about before you get into graded coins. And the last one I wanted to mention is buying generic or discounted rounds. And there can be times when that makes sense. You can get a 1 ounce silver round very cheaply above the spot price. Some dealers will have a blowout sale just in order to clear their inventory. But again, you want to look at the total spread because it might seem really, really cheap up front, but because it's a generic brand, it doesn't have a good reputation globally. It might be a little bit harder to sell that product down the road, or you're just going to get less money for it when it comes time to liquidate. Spot price, premiums, discounts, spreads. I know it might sound all a little bit overwhelming, but I hope you learned something today. We gave you all the formulas you'll need to be able to do that simple math. And if you have any questions, of course, you can contact us at info@swpcayman.com. You can follow us on Twitter at swpgold, or of course, just subscribe to our YouTube channel for more great educational videos.